Reminds me of the sketchy stuff I've heard about esports teams accountants. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like people that do that type of work in niches half the time are just there, or here, I should say, because someone recommended them once and somehow they've just coasted because no one knows how to validate that their work's actually good, you know? Yeah, Ruben, I'm sure you know it all too well. Do you have any horror stories? Any bad ones? One of my friends, I won't say who, one of my friends who was in an esports org said that they were in an org that got an investment, millions in investment, and they immediately bought up houses, streamer houses for you know, everyone to live in, like instantly. It was the first thing they did. Let's buy some houses for our for our players to live in. Instead of looking into renting, nothing. They just literally, like, the next week were out there buying houses. Because they were thinking, oh, it's an asset for the company, you know, then once we don't need it, we'll sell it back later, so we're not burning money in rent. But they're forgetting, when you buy a house, you pay so many fees for the legal work, for the realtors and all this stuff, and just getting all of those things legally set up. Buying a house, also, you just kind of like burn money right at the beginning. So if you're going to sell it relatively soon after, you're not really getting much out of it. You know, it's not really a cool equity moment. So like, so they did that, and then they had to like buy houses elsewhere because they changed locations. So they bought houses and sold them within 2 years to then buy other houses. And they just burnt so much money on this. And I'm like, brother, they could have just rented. Like when you're short term, oh, insane. And when the players were seeing that like a lot of the org's money was getting burnt, they were like, why? They didn't know that the houses were bought. They thought they were renting. Like they knew that, like, they thought they were renting from one of the people in the org, and that the person in the org like somehow was rich and just had them. Like, I guess they just, bro just didn't explain it properly. Made it sound like he already owned them or something. No, it was just that he put his name on it plus the org, and they thought that like the org was renting it from him. Didn't realize it was just the org money that guy used to purchase it. So it was just like crazy. Thankfully, I personally do not, but I'm very familiar with many from my friends, namely every single Overwatch League team buying a big team house in LA and paying the players exorbitant salaries, and then realizing, oh, we're not making any money, time to pull the plug. And then all the teenagers and guys in their early 20s who didn't know how to manage their money, thought this income would last longer, are cooked. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things, is that I feel like something I've dealt with is a lot of people from esports orgs who are now streamers. When I've talked to them and they've asked me for business or finance or sponsor or whatever advice, we've talked about this. Samira, welcome on in. We were just talking about Ruben's horror story about esports orgs burning money. A lot of people from esports orgs have become streamers, right? And they've talked to me about finance or like how to really make this work for them, whatever. They all seem to think, a lot of these players seem to think that they just deserve to get a salary as a professional player. Like the money should just exist for them. And I'm like, okay, this isn't about a moral question. Do you deserve it? The question is, where does the money come from? And if you are not generating money as a player for your esports org, you are a loss for them financially. Now, if all the players do that and the managers, and no one in there is able to generate money, you're gonna go under eventually. Like, you don't just magically get money. And they also seem to think that sponsors just want to keep investing every 3 years in them, because like 1 or 2 orgs have managed to somehow get reinvested in when they really shouldn't. And so they think that this just happens. And then they're like, yeah, I just need to find the right org to pick me up and give me a salary. And I'm like, what? Well, if you're all doing this, you're all draining money from these sponsors. The sponsors are going to leave the space entirely, because they're going to just be like, well, that venture didn't work for us. Let's go find something else, you know? And that's what happened. And that's why esports is like gone, man. That's why esports is so dead. There's still certain ones that are doing okay, but it's not as huge with the amount of money these orgs have now. They're running more skeleton crews, bare bones kind of stuff. It's just because like the model was never profitable. Never. Yeah, you said same players don't want to make content for their orgs, by the way. That's the other thing. There's some of them that have turned into great streamers, and they make money for themselves. And when with orgs, sometimes they've also helped those orgs make money. right? Because they'll take a sponsor and give the org a cut of it, things like that. Great. They still don't always make enough proportionally to make that money back, but they're still like doing something, you know? But yeah, they just don't like making content. And I'm like, well, this ain't football. We don't have hundreds of thousands of people who are fans of each team individually, who watch every game. They're not paying money because they're not selling seats in a stadium. When you go see something live in esports, it's very rarely in a big stadium. Maybe the finals are, but like, you know, like there's just not that money in it because there aren't enough people in it. So I don't know, man. But the ones who do manage to make content, those ones did well. Yeah, like Surefour is a good example. Like, he's just a streamer now playing other shit. But he came from Overwatch. Moon came from Overwatch. X came from Overwatch. But what did they do? They made content, right? And notice how the ones that make content and do well end up not staying with orgs, usually. Or if they do, they're not really, like, there as a pro player. They're just there as a content creator. Because just being part of these esports orgs as players, you're just not making them or yourself money, you know? Ruben's orgasm came from Overwatch. Yeah! Yeah! It's true. It's true. Yeah. America's fuck you, pay me mentality basically moved the industry. The only ones that are still alive are the Eastern ones because they actually did basic financial analysis. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. T1's doing really well because they figured out how to play the game, you know? And the other thing is also it depended on who's hiring producers and stuff to make that content. Because if your people don't seem to want to make content, if you bring in production crews so they can do the easiest part and the production crew can do all the hard part, give them the ideas and just have them do it, then it's pretty good. It's pretty good at that point, you know? But they didn't do that. They didn't invest in the right stuff to make it last. They just got huge investments and went, yeah, we can pay crazy big salaries to all our players to attract the players in, and then we'll win and surely we'll make money somehow. And then they just like had no plan, dude. And they all fell flat. Times Square Elmo assaulted me. I have quite literally had, funny you say that, I have had Times Square Elmo just grab my arm